Chapter 10. Energy equals magic squared. Jay's plan was getting them transportation back to the island was simple. They would leave Oridon as they entered it, in the royal limousine, which also held the remote control that opened the invisible dome and let down the connecting bridge with a click of a button. But if the four villain kids were going to leave Oridon prep without being noticed, then they couldn't leave looking like themselves. That much was clear. They didn't have family or friends in the other kingdoms, so there was no reason for them to leave school before winter break. They would have to be creative. Thankfully, being creative was not a problem for Evie. "Leave that to me," she told the team the night before. "I've got this handled. If you get the wheels, Jay, I'll make sure no one knows it's us in the royal limousine." But for now, she still had time for regular life. After class, Evie headed to the grand ballroom, where tomorrow's castle-coming dance would be held for the last planning meeting. The annual tourney game and dance was a traditional affair, celebrating school alumni returning to their old stomping grounds, when good old princes and princesses regaled everyone with tales of the pranks pulled back in their day, stealing the Oridon mascot, for instance, or the time they glued the classroom furniture to the ceiling, causing Fairy Godmother to exclaim something a little more colorful than bibbidi-boppidi-boo. Evie said hello to the fellow members of the dance committee, and the meeting began. Since the dance was so close, almost all the details had already been agreed upon. The menu had been approved, and Mr. and Mrs. Darling had volunteered to chaperone along with Roger and Anita Radcliffe. Lonnie was going to be the DJ and would be bringing her own equipment. All that was left to decide on a theme for the decorations. "We could do an imperial banquet," suggested Lonnie. "How about a sultan's feast?" asked Jordan. "We could tent the whole area." No one seemed to like any of those ideas, least of all Evie, who argued that since it was castle coming, the theme of the decoration should reflect the school colors, royal blue and gold. "Yes, you have a point there," said Audrey. "But don't you think pale pink and baby blue are so much prettier?" "It's not a baby shower," Evie mumbled under her breath. "I'm sorry, did you say something?" asked Audrey, pretending not to have heard. "I agree with Evie," said Allie. "But can we do something more psychedelic, maybe? In Wonderland, we have the most amazing flowers of so many different hues." Said Evie, looking around at the lush, cream-colored carpet and exquisite Oridon prep tapestries already hung on the ballroom's walls. "Both sound lovely, but I do think blue and gold would be best. It fits the existing color scheme in the room." "If you say so," Allie sighed. "I suppose that is traditional. So we'll go with the gold balloon banner." "And blue velvet ribbons around all the columns," said Evie, pen poised at the ready. "Maybe we could have bunches of violets and gold vases," said Allie. "Violets are actually blue." "Perfect," she smiled at Allie. "And we could trim the tables with gold leaf," said Lonnie helpfully. Audrey frowned. "If you guys really think that's best." Evie smiled. She knew when she had won, and she would be gracious in victory. "Audrey, Lonnie, do you want to come over and try on your ball gowns?" she asked. "I'm pretty much done with them." If Mal was famous for helping with hair, Evie's talents as a fashion designer and seamstress were starting to become legendary. A number of girls had asked if she would make dresses for them for the dance. So when Mal had said they would need to leave Oridon undercover, it had given Evie an idea. "Oh, I can't wait," said Audrey. "Did you put on the swan bustle like I asked?" "It was difficult, but I did it," said Evie with a smile. "I can't wait to see mine," said Lonnie. "Is it red and gold like we talked about?" "You'll look like an empress," Evie promised. The girls followed her back to her room, and Evie handed them their gowns. There was so much oohing and awing over the gorgeous dresses. Audrey's gown featured pink and blue panels that changed color depending on how she twirled her skirt. "It's like magic," Audrey sighed, unable to keep her eyes off her reflection. "I think Cinderella's mice are going to be jealous," said Lonnie Lonnie, who looked stunning in a traditional imperial column with a pretty lotus print. "Mary's definitely going to want to hire you when you graduate from here." "Thanks, guys," said Evie with a smile. After they changed back into their school clothes, Audrey wandered over to Evie's vanity table, which was littered with numerous tiny glass pots filled with different colors. She stuck her finger in one. "What's this?" "Oh, just some batches of lip gloss I've been experimenting with in the lab. We always had to use expired cosmetics on the Isle of the Lost. So when I got here and discovered I could learn to make my own makeup, I was thrilled. I've even been able to enhance them with the right chemical compounds," said Evie. "Look, here's one that changes from pink to blue in the light." Audrey squealed. "Can I have it?" "It's yours," said Evie. Lonnie held up a clear gloss. "What does this do?" "Glows in the dark," said Evie. "I thought it would be fun when the lights go down during the dance." "Cool," said Lonnie. They crowded around the vanity, picking up tubes and pots and trying every color. Lonnie held up a purple one. "And this?" "Don't you hate when your lip gloss disappears in the middle of the day? So I figured out how to make one that never fades," said Evie. Lonnie and Audrey nodded in agreement. "Are you sure I can have this one?" asked Audrey, holding up her blue-pink pot. "I made it for you, of course," said Evie. "Which one do you want, Lonnie?" "The glow-in-the-dark one, thanks. That way everyone can see me smiling up in the DJ booth," said Lonnie. "Perfect." The girls thanked Evie and left with their dresses. Mal walked in a few minutes later. "All set?" she asked. In answer, Evie opened the closet door, which held 2 identical dresses to the ones she had made for Audrey and Lonnie. "Try yours on," she said. "I want to see if it fits." Evie had stayed up way too late the night before, but she'd gotten them done. If they were going to leave Oridon, they would do so disguised as princesses. Lonnie and Audrey often left school to visit their home castles and kingdoms, and no one would question their use of the royal limousine. Jay and Carlos would be dressed as their chauffeur and bodyguard, respectively. "How's your mom, by the way?" asked Evie as she zipped Mal up into the replica of Audrey's dress. "Did she tell you anything the other day?" Mal shook her head. "Not unless she was communicating by sleeping. I really don't see how it could be her, but who knows? We'll just have to assume the worst." She caught her reflection. Her purple hair framed her horrified face as the dress shimmered in waves of sparkly pink and blue. "Oh, my goblins! I look like such a princess. It's so pink and blue." Evie laughed. "That's the point. Though I have to say, these really aren't your colors." Mal stuck her tongue out at Evie. "Any luck with the magic mirror?" "None," said Evie. "It works perfectly if I ask it to show me anything else, but if I ask to see my mom, Jafar, or Corella, it's just cloudy. It's like they disappeared or something." "Let me see," said Mal. "Do you think there might be a crack in it?" "It's already cracked," said Evie. "Maybe I could try a spell or two?" Mal grabbed her spell book from the shelf, the one that Maleficent had passed down to her. "Magic mirror, on my command, heal thyself with my own hand." The mirror remained the same. "Magic mirror, do as I say. Show us the villains on the Isle today," said Mal. Nothing changed. Evie shook her head. "I don't think there's anything wrong with the mirror at all. I'm starting to believe they don't want to be found. They're able to hide from it somehow." "But the only way to do that is with magic," said Mal. "And there's no magic on the Isle. Or maybe the magic mirror is weakening," said Evie thoughtfully. "Since we're not encouraged to do magic here, I haven't been using it as much." "What of it?" "Well, what if magic is like a muscle? If you don't use it, it atrophies or tries to find somewhere else to go. Energy has to transform, right?" "That's what we learned in chemistry," said Evie. "There's no such thing as turning something into nothing. It just becomes something else, even if we don't see it." Mal considered this. "You know, you might be right."